The wind howled through the dry plains of Texas like a ghost looking for closure. Dust curled up from the barren earth and danced like silent warnings across the lonely ranch just past Red Hollow Ridge. This land didn't forgive. It remembered every footstep, every betrayal, every drop of blood. And no one knew that better than Maeve Callahan. Maeve was not the kind of woman who needed protecting. In fact, she was the reason most men in the West learned to keep their mouths shut and their hands to themselves. A widow at 37, her husband long buried with a bullet lodged between his ribs from a land dispute gone south, she'd spent years earning the respect of the wild land and its wilder people. And though solitude had become her partner, there was still fire behind those storm-gray eyes. That fire lit the fuse on the day everything changed. It was supposed to be a normal morning. Maeve was checking the fencing along the north line, her horse trotting steady beneath her, when she saw the first sign: fresh boot prints, 3 sets, all large, all wrong. They didn't belong to any ranch hand of hers, and they weren't passing through. No, they were circling. When she got back to the house, the sun barely kissing the sky, she found her barn doors open. The smell of kerosene hit her hard. Her hands tensed. Someone wanted a message delivered, loud and fiery. But Maeve had never been one for diplomacy. She walked in slow, lever-action rifle slung over her shoulder, and saw them. 3 men, dirty boots, worn hats, that kind of arrogance you can only wear when you've taken too much from too many. "Put that down, sweetheart," said the one with the scar across his lip, as he pointed to her rifle. Maeve didn't blink. "This here's my land. You got 10 seconds to get off it." The youngest of the 3 laughed. "We heard you was all alone out here. Thought maybe you could use some company." Maeve's voice came low and sharp. "Hands off, or blood on." They didn't listen. The first one stepped toward her, slow and casual, like she was prey. She didn't wait. The crack of the rifle echoed off the canyon wall. The man dropped, his shoulder blown clean through. The others froze. They hadn't expected her to shoot. Most folks didn't. "You gonna take your friend and crawl, or do you want 2 more bullet holes to fill the dirt?" The second man cursed under his breath, helping his moaning partner up. The third, the quiet one with cold eyes, just stared at Maeve. He didn't look scared. He looked interested. "This ain't over," he said. "No," she replied. "It's just beginning." They left, but they left something behind: rage, wounded pride, and a promise of return. Maeve knew they'd be back. The law out here was just a word, and the sheriff hadn't dared come past her property line in years. She could either run, or stand tall like she always had. She chose the second. That night, she sat on the porch, oil lamp glowing behind her, rifle across her lap. Coyotes howled in the distance. Her dog, Boone, sat at her feet, ears twitching. They came after midnight. No words this time, just fire. They set the east hayshed ablaze, hoping to draw her out. But Maeve had played chess before, and she didn't believe in stepping into traps. She waited. When the first man appeared in the shadows, crawling low, she fired a warning shot past his ear. He yelped and fell back. The second one wasn't so lucky. He tried to sneak around the side of the house. Boone growled, and Maeve turned just in time to put a bullet in his thigh. He screamed and dropped, cursing her name. Only one remained, the quiet one. He stood in the middle of the yard, revolver in hand, fire crackling behind him, eyes locked on Maeve. "You're tough," he said. "I give you that." "I don't need your praise," she replied. "I need you gone." He tilted his head. "You think this is about your land?" Maeve narrowed her eyes. "What else would trash like you come for?" He holstered his gun. That made her pause. "My brother," he said, nodding toward the wounded man. "He died 2 winters ago out past Hollow Ridge." "Said your husband shot him over a fence line." Maeve's jaw tightened. If your brother was pointing a gun, he got what he deserved. He stepped closer. "I came for revenge. But I stayed because I saw something else. Mercy. You could have killed all 3 of us this morning. You didn't. That's not weakness. That's strength." Maeve didn't lower her rifle. "You still burned my shed." He nodded. "And I'll pay for that. You want blood, take it. But I came to say I was wrong." Silence settled between them. Firelight flickered in both their eyes. Maeve lowered the rifle, just slightly. "You got a name?" she asked. "Silas." "Well, Silas, you ever touch my land again, there won't be no talking." "I wouldn't expect nothing less." He turned and disappeared into the darkness, leaving behind only smoke and the sound of sirens in the wind. The next morning, Maeve buried the bullet casings in the dirt beside the old well, her ritual after every fight. Not to forget, to honor. Boone followed her, limping slightly from the night's chaos. As she looked over the charred remains of the shed, she didn't feel anger. She felt clarity. The West didn't care for revenge. It fed on it, yes, but it never paid it back clean. Mercy was rarer than gold out here. And she had shown it. Weeks passed. The sun returned to its old habits. The wind softened, and one day, a wagon arrived. In it was lumber, tools, a new saddle, no note, no name. But she knew. Silas never came back. Not in person, anyway. But the West had its own way of saying thank you. Maeve rebuilt, brick by brick. Fire didn't scare her. Men didn't scare her. Even loneliness, that cruel old companion, had started to lose its edge. She still wore her husband's wedding ring, but the weight of it didn't feel so heavy anymore. The town folk started whispering about her again, not in fear, but in awe. She let him live, they said. Coulda spilled his guts right there, but she didn't. That woman's got steel in her bones and kindness in her trigger finger. And they weren't wrong. Maeve Callahan, the lonely rancher of Red Hollow Ridge, became a legend not because she could kill, but because she knew when not to. In a land ruled by the gun, she showed what real power looked like. Mercy. And that is something even the wildest parts of the West could never forget. If you'd like me to generate a YouTube title, description